Travolting presents The Fraser's Edge. Hosted by Jeff Sweeney and Stuart Elmore. Covering The Nut Job. With special guest, Francis Hutchison.
Okay.
All right, so here's the plan. We infiltrate the recording studio. We get the microphones. We open the Zoom link. We send the Zoom to Francis Hutchison, notorious thief. We then record an episode covering the motion picture, The Nut Job. That's all I got. Are you playing Buddy? Are you just going to be silent the entire episode? No, you're not taking that out. You're not taking that out.
I feel like the best part of The Nut Job is that like two of the best characters are the characters that never talk. Like it might be a hot take, but I mean obviously we love Buddy, but also that like little red bird who just kind of angrily looks at everyone. I kind of mess with him. I kind of thought he was a great pivotal character.
I love the red bird. He also coincidentally does look like the angry bird, the red one.
Yeah.
I think that's partly.
You think that's intentional?
Yeah.
When did Angry Birds start? When was Angry?
Before this.
Was it before this?
Well before this. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Jeff, are you aware that this movie came out during the peak of our civilization era when Oppa Gangam Style came out? Because, listen, I wasn't sure how popular Gangam Style was until I watched this movie and I realized it was the best song in the 21st century.
No, so here's the first
according
of all,
to these filmmakers.
Angry Birds came out in 2009. So it's 5 years since Angry Birds.
Yes.
We're in the peak of the angry renaissance. Okay. So
Peak of the angry renaissance.
but here's I want to talk about Gangnam Style. I mean, I was thought we would wait until we got to the end of the movie.
You're right.
I think we got to just like.
I really think we should just wait till
You
the
want to
end.
wait till the end to talk about Gangnam Style?
Or, I don't know. Francis, should we bring it up now or later?
I mean, that was what prompted me to start my notes when I was watching it. I was like, I need to get this at the exact minute marker. So I don't know. I feel like maybe we should just kind of go through it and then like talk about it at that moment.
When it comes
When
up.
it comes
I
up.
feel like you need to, yeah. Because I feel
agree.
like it's very important.
I agree.
I will relent on Gangnam Style.
Yes. Yeah, the nut job, the nuttiest job. Jeff, you performed a nut job recently.
What?
A nut job of
What does that mean?
getting married.
This is-
Whoa, shit! I'm gonna put so many sound effects.
I
in
want you
this
to
here.
think about what you said.
The nut job of getting married. Francis thought it was
We
funny.
just lost. You're getting such a stank face from another room. Right? We are at minimum losing 20 subscribers at this moment.
That's all of our subscribers.
Oh, did you see we finally got a Spotify rating?
We did?
Yeah, enough people rated us to. I mean, it was only like 10, but we got enough people to actually give us a Spotify rating.
No shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we have a 5-star Spotify rating.
We have a 5-star rating?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
No shit.
We have a 5-star Spotify rating. We have I think 5-star Apple Podcast.
Probably.
Yeah. And then we have a really angry guy on YouTube. If you're listening right now.
Who's the angry guy on YouTube?
No, like, there's this, I don't know, we'll talk about this later, but for some reason when I upload the videos to YouTube, like, half of them, like, halfway through the episode restart. Like, the audio file restarts. But only on the YouTube.
Which is... Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, I don't quite know how that happened.
Have you been listening to it and seen it happen?
Well, I went, I saw an angry comment, and I went in there like, you're just fucking playback set. And I was like, no, this guy's actually right. This isn't working. So I apologized to him. And I was
Wait, like, is it actually, like, not working? Did you listen to the whole thing?
you know, like halfway through the episode, it just stops, and then it restarts the episode.
And you heard that?
Yes, I heard it.
Okay.
And then you go, but it's still the exact same length that the episode should be. Like, it's 27 minutes, and at the halfway point, it just restarts. And then at the end of it, it just cuts off in the middle of you saying a sentence. I'm going to, like, try...
Something's going on.
After this recording, I'm going to try and figure it out. I want to quickly shout out this guy who I just referred to as a very angry YouTuber. Because I feel bad.
Why are you giving him clout?
No, because he's definitely listening to this, and I want him to know that, he's respected for pointing that out.
Yeah, but, there's better ways to make comments. Like, I don't think we should reward toxic commenting behavior.
He's not toxic. He's a good guy.
What was his comment? Read me the comment. Or I'll find the comment.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Here,
go.
his name is Louis Taurus, and he said, I hope that at least when the whale episode come,
you would fix the issue you have with the editing. A 27-minute episode where the second half is basically the reprise of the first half. Come on, this is not the first time you're doing this.
Yeah, that guy could have worded it better.
No, he's a good guy.
No, that's being a jerk. Francis, jerk, good guy.
I think it's a complicated matter because I think he definitely cares about you guys enough to get angry about it, which is pretty sick that he cares enough about a podcast about John Travolta and Brendan Fraser to like make an angry comment.
Yeah, buddy.
But also the wording was a little aggressive.
But it's also like I hate how long we've been talking about this guy because now everybody's gonna be like, well, if I write a angry comment, then Jeff and Stuart will go on a 10-minute rant about him on their episode.
This guy's definitely gonna listen to this and comment on this episode. So I just want to shout him out because I'm trying to give him some respect for pointing that out.
And I'm just trying to say that there are better ways to comment on YouTube, and that's just not on him. That's in the whole general YouTube community.
Okay. Well, enough about that guy. Please keep listening.
You can say thank you, Jeff. Fuck off, Stuart.
Yeah, fair. So last time we checked in with Brendan was Gimme Shelter.
Oh,
that was the end of his like insane 2013 where it was like every movie somehow got worse.
Yeah. Much worse.
Francis, I'm going to read you Brendan Fraser's 2013, and you're going to tell me if you've heard of any of these movies.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right, we're starting with A Case of You. Hairbrand.
No. No.
Pawn Shop Chronicles.
No.
Breakout.
No.
Gimme Shelter.
No.
Okay. Gimme Shelter is the Vanessa Hudgens passion project where she tries to be like a really serious actress in this like movie about a homeless person. It's like not good, but she's fine in it. But yeah, so he does those 5 movies.
Glowing review.
Yeah, glowing. So he does those 5 movies in 2013, basically just because he kind of needs money.
Yeah.
This is around the time he goes public that he was sexually assaulted by the head of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. He starts like, losing out on jobs because he is in the middle of a messy divorce, and he's also going through multiple back surgeries.
Yeah.
And so he's not able to, perform as he could. He's in debt. And so he does those 5 movies. A few of them are somewhat like passionate performances from him. I think of Gimme Shelter and A Case of You. Those are like movies where he's actually like giving a performance in a movie.
Doing something. Yeah.
That being said, those movies are not good.
Yeah.
But he's basically at the bottom barrel. And then he does this. And this is the last movie he does until 2019.
5 years.
Yes. Francis, this is a big one. This is like
oh my God.
the end of his movie career for half of a decade.
Wow.
To be clear, he does TV episodes in between.
Yes.
But there are no movies.
Yeah. We're going to play the same game we just played. I'm going to read off these TV shows, and we're going to see how many of them you know.
God.
How many of these have you heard of? Texas Rising.
Nope.
The Affair.
Maybe, but maybe I'm thinking of a movie.
Nightcap, specifically the episode entitled Poop Show.
No.
Trust.
No.
Condor.
No.
Doom Patrol.
Yes.
I have heard of that.
I have heard of that. There we go.
And this is not disrespect to him. It's just like he's in a rough spot and he has to kind of take what he can get, which is not the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
His passion for the art never leaves, but his like options do. And so this, I think it's important to note that this is an animated movie. And so he probably recorded this in 2013 or 2012, even though it comes out in 2014. So in theory, he doesn't really work on a movie past 2013.
Yeah.
Even though this does come out the next year. But yeah, it's kind of, after this, he takes some time, works on himself, and then comes back strong a few years later, which we'll talk about next week.
When we talk about...
We'll talk about it at the end. I'll mention it. We get to talk about that movie.
That movie.
Yeah.
Again.
The second time we have to talk about this fucking movie.
This is the first ever Travolting instance it's ever happened.
Where it's a repeat.
It's a big deal.
What if we just exclusively did the cast of that movie?
Did the what?
The cast of that movie. And we just have to talk about it every time.
No.
We call the Morgan Freeman show Freemen.
What do you call the Famke Janssen podcast?
Famke and Dangerous? I don't know.
Fuck off with that. Is there any other context, Jeff?
This movie has a little bit of context, actually.
Yeah.
So the concept of this movie comes out in 2005. There's an animated short film called Surly Squirrel.
Oh, cute.
There's several. There's another short produced later called Nuts and Robbers, which was kind of used as like a teaser, pitch video. Francis. It was like a pitch video for this movie. And then in 2011, this movie is officially announced. It's going to be produced by what's the company? I think it's Toonbox Entertainment that does the animation for this. Okay. It's 3 separate studios. It's Gulfstream Pictures, Red Rover International, and Toonbox Entertainment. I'm thinking Toonbox is probably the animation company that does it.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
It's announced that Toonbox is going to animate this movie. Lorne Cameron is announced as the screenwriter. Peter Lepaniotis, I don't know how to say that name, is the director. Previously, he's only directed short films, but he did direct Surly Squirrel. So this is in some way a passion project for this guy. He came up with this concept in 2005. He's working for 6 years to try and make this into a feature.
He was nutty to make this movie.
Yeah, he was a nutty professor.
A nutty filmmaker.
God.
But he's a long time.
But he got the job.
The thing is, he's a long-time animator. He worked on Casper, Toy Story 2, Fantasia 2000, Dinosaur, VeggieTales. Like, he basically, he's a guy who's been working in the biz for a while, doing other people's animation. He just really wanted to make his own animated movie.
Yeah.
Hence,
The Nut Job.
The Nut Job.
Did he do anything after The Nut Job? Or, was that his, was he a one-hit wonder with this?
It's the end of his career. Actually, no, he does direct 2 more movies.
I was going to say, there's a sequel
are
to
they?
this movie.
He does
there?
not direct the sequel to this movie. He only gets based on characters by credit for the sequel. But he does direct 2 more movies, and let me hit you with them. Gnome Alone.
Stop. I haven't heard about it, but it sounds pretty funny.
And he has a movie coming out in 3 weeks
What's it called, Jeff?
entitled Zombie Town.
Oh.
When this episode releases, it will have been out for 3 weeks. But at the time of recording, it's coming out in 3 weeks. It's called Zombie Town. It stars Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, and Henry Czerny.
Well, okay then.
Stuart, we should go see Zombie Town.
Nope. Can go without that.
What if we did Gnome Alone?
Can go without that. Is that just Home Alone but with gnomes?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Who's-
And it stars Josh Peck.
Wait a minute. Pause the podcast. It just stars Josh Peck,
It's Becky G and Josh Peck.
Becky G, and Josh Peck.
Yes. I don't know who Becky G is. France, do you know who Becky G is?
I think isn't Becky G the one who made singing in the shower and stuff? Am I wrong? Wait, I gotta look up Becky G now.
She did a song called Becky from the Block.
Yeah, no, she did shower. She's the one who did singing in the shower.
Singing in the shower?
Did you not rock out to that song in the 2000s? It's such a dumb song, but everyone was obsessed with it. She's like, I'm dancing in the mirror, singing in the shower.
I'm looking this song.
And everyone loved this song for some reason. I could not escape this song for at least a year. So, yes, I'm very familiar with Becky G's work.
Gnome Alone. Maybe we'll do the Becky G cast.
Maybe just a special episode because Gnome Alone seems kind of hilarious.
Remember that run of gnome movies?
What was that about?
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet.
Sherlock Gnomes.
Yeah.
Were the gnomes taken over and then couldn't land a home run?
Well, no, I think they took over the film industry, but now they're everywhere. You go to Mariano's or Target, there's gnomes everywhere. I have a gnome in my house because they just bring me so much joy because they're so ridiculous. gnomes are like making a comeback, but in the physical world, not in
Yeah.
the film world.
They tried.
You know?
They tried their hand at Hollywood. Didn't quite work out, and now they're infiltrating our homes.
The next thing you know, they're going to start rigging all the elections.
All right. I've opened up a Wikipedia page entitled "Category Films About Gnomes." There are 11 pages in this category.
We should start talking about the
Oh
nut
my
job.
God.
Give me a minute.
Okay.
Let me hit you with these movies.
This movie just offers too many like possible side conversations. It's the joy of the nut job.
Here are the movies about gnomes. The 11. Boken Koro Bakuru.
That's a no movie?
Yeah, it's a gnome movie. It's an anime gnome movie from 1973. And then there's Boy Meets Dog, which is apparently about a gnome. It's from 1938. Gnome Alone, A Gnome Named Norm, which is a 1990 movie with Anthony Michael Hall. Gnomeo and Juliet, a movie just called
A classic.
Gnomes. Then Pinkle J, a 1978 Dutch film. Rip Van Winkle from 1910. Sherlock Gnomes, The Sunshine Makers, and To Spring. Those are the 11 movies about gnomes, according to Wikipedia.
There's got to be more than that, though.
I don't know. I think that I'm literally finding a movie right now called Gnomes and Trolls. Like, what is this bullshit? Wikipedia lied. Wikipedia lied to me? Wow, that's never happened before.
Anyway, so the nut job.
Yes, it's directed by that guy. He made Gnome Alone. He's doing well. I'm happy for him. He was able to recover from this.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Brendan is announced to join this movie on November 15th, 2012. So he probably records his lines around late 2012, early 2013.
Yeah, around the time he's doing all of his
Other
major
movies.
stuff.
Yeah.
Which is not uncommon. We've covered plenty of animations where it's like they kind of did their work like 2 years prior.
Yeah, including Sinbad Beyond the Veil of Mist.
I've never heard of that movie. I don't think we ever watched it for this podcast.
Francis, we covered this Sinbad movie, and you'd think like, oh, the fun-looking Sinbad from the 90s. No, it was like PlayStation 2 graphics. It was crazy.
Oh no.
It was so bad. It was
Just on your own time,
Oh,
look up the
jeez.
trailer to Sinbad Beyond the Veil of Mist. Just whenever you have time.
Okay.
And then
I'm
I
queuing it up on my computer.
and then
It's
I
hilarious.
next thing I'll say is I apologize.
nightmarish.
Oh
imagery.
my
Yeah, it's pretty grotesque.
boy. Well, oh yeah, bad.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Yeah. Should we? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there any more context, or
Let's delve into the
we
movie.
go into the plot?
Yeah. The
So-
plot of The Nut Job.
First off, what year does this movie take place?
It
Because I'm getting 1940s vibes.
is
From-
Wikipedia.
1950s.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Wikipedia listed as October 1959.
59?
Yes.
Why are these guys talking like John Dillinger bank robbers? They're like, we're going to dig a hole under the bank, and we're going to use dynamite to get through and grab all the loots. Johnny?
The thing is, this movie has no reason to be set in the 50s.
No.
It's like the only reason why is because they clearly just preferred the art style of the 50s. But this is just about like a squirrel who wants to steal nuts. It's not like there's any. It's not like it's about McCarthyism or anything. It's not like intentionally about the 50s.
It would be really funny.
Well, I feel like it's also like I had no idea because I'd watched The Nut Job like maybe twice before, and then I watched it again last night, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take notes and stuff. And I'm watching it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna look up like some facts so I feel a little more prepared. And I never even really thought about what time period it was in. I was just like, oh yeah, these people just live in like a little fictional town, like because I looked it up. I'm like, it's not a real place, but. Then it was said it was in the 1950s, and I was like, why? What's the reason? It's very, I don't know, unnecessary,
Yeah.
but like a weird piece of like knowledge to have watching it.
Like it's like there's no reason you can't do a modern movie about a guy robbing a bank.
But the problem is, there's a scene where he's like, they're being chased by the cops. It's like, don't worry, Johnny, the state line is coming up, and we're going to be scot-free. That was abolished like well before 1959. So I'm really confused on when this movie took place.
Well, he's been in the Slammer for a while. He doesn't know
so
that
he
the
doesn't
law
know
changed.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. That's King,
That's
right?
Yeah,
King's
King.
been in
That's why when all the cops are there, he's surprised because he doesn't know.
right.
We're giving more thought to this movie than I think they did writing it. So
Probably. So we open with a squirrel.
yeah, named Surly.
Surly
It's
squirrel.
subtle. It's subtle.
Surly squirrel. There was never like a point in time though. They should have used this joke where they're talking over the plan and they say, "Surly, you can't be serious," and he's like, "I am serious, and don't call me Surly." Like they totally passed that joke up. They had it right there.
Can I read for you
Yeah.
how critics described his character?
How?
The Washington Post described Surly as a selfish scurrier with a grouchy attitude and a mind for schemes.
Have you met squirrels?
He's not a very fun character to travel with. IGN described the character as admittedly quite surly, but trapped in a bizarre and contradictory social commentary about the importance of sharing and the dangers of socialism.
So I was gonna say, like, you talk about this being like McCarthyism, and I do think there is some McCarthyism in play in this movie, because you got to think Raccoon, voiced by none other than Liam Neeson,
Yes.
is all about like controlling the wealth to distribute to maintain control over the colony and the park, versus Andy and Surly, who have the mindset of like we should just need to, like everyone needs to share.
Yeah.
It's a socialism commentary.
Yeah. This movie ahead of its time.
Raccoon is Rockefeller.
Sees the means of production.
Yes.
You know what my first thought watching this movie is? You know a movie's going to be good when it opens with 5 different studio logos.
Oh, yes.
That's how you know a movie's going to be good.
Oh, yes. What did I just watch recently that had that similar vibe? Oh, God, I can't even remember. But, yeah, I know what you mean.
Because, like, if there's one logo, that's like, all right, this is like Universal put everything into this movie.
Yeah.
When there's 2, you're like, okay, there's like a Kona financer or a production company.
Yeah.
When there's 3, you're like, okay, maybe Tom Cruise has a company that he just slaps his name on everything.
That's
when
what
you
it
get
was.
to 4,
That's
when
what
you get
it
to
was.
4, that's when it gets a little dodgy.
It's the newer Mission Impossible movies, right?
Yeah.
The newer Mission Impossible movies have a good amount of movie logos on the front.
new Mission Impossible ones have this weird contractual obligation
yeah.
with them.
Right.
Because, like, it's a Paramount movie. I can't. Why do I know this stuff? Like, I could be doing great things.
Why do you not know this
I
stuff?
could be doing great
That's
things.
the
No, but like, it starts with like a Paramount logo. And it's like our Paramount movie. Then it's Skydance because Tom Cruise begged David Ellison to give him money and like to like fund these movies in exchange for his logo on all of them. And then it's like Tom Cruise has a production company.
Right.
And then it's like J.J. Abrams has a production company and he has like residuals he gets off the movie, so he's also on it.
And then there's also like a Middle Eastern company
Yeah.
that's on
Alibaba,
board.
I think.
Alibaba, yeah. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
weird stuff going on that front
Yeah.
logo.
I think it's when it's 5 companies you've never heard of before. That's when you like really are like, whew, here we go.
It's almost kind of like seeing like the Paramount logo at the beginning of the Avengers, knowing what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that Disney's gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Well, they actually already had it that time.
I know that's my
Yeah,
my
yeah.
point. It's like Disney already owned it, but they were able to maintain the Paramount logo. A victory for Paramount. They lost the they won the mustache fight.
Yeah,
That's right. I also just went through a Mission Impossible binge, and I recently watched Fallout, so the mustache. I'm like, hey, it's the mustache.
It's a good movie.
Are you aware of this whole thing, Francis, about
No,
Henry
what
Cavill?
is the mustache thing?
So-
We gotta explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Mission Impossible 6, Henry Cavill plays the bad guy, and he has a mustache in the movie. He also plays Superman in Justice League, which shot before Mission Impossible. But they wanted to go back and do extensive reshoots on Justice League. And so they asked Paramount, hey, can we like shave his mustache off and we will pay you for the mustache makeup effect for your movie so that he can do reshoots with us. And Paramount said, absolutely not. He's keeping the mustache for our movie. And so
They made it such a big deal.
in his Superman performance, for half of his scenes, they have to CGI his mustache off, which means the entire lower half of his face is CGI for half the movie. And it is haunting.
It looks really
Oh
bad.
my god.
Like, he walks in and you're like, that is not a human. That's like a shapeshifter.
And I think it's so funny because like Paramount, like whether people agree or disagree with this, like Paramount definitely like is of the big 6 or big 5, whatever. Paramount's like of the smaller of the 5.
Yeah.
Like they got Mission Impossible and they got. Do they have James Bond? They got the right or
that's Sony.
right. Paramount's got like.
Actually, Apple has it now, but
Oh right, they have like I think don't they have like Transformer? They only have like very few properties.
yeah, like Transformers, Mission Impossible, Top Gun.
Yeah, it's like some of those stuff. And so like when you hear about like them going up against Warner Brothers, like gargantuan, they got
Yeah.
lots of IP and they're like, you're going to make him shave off the mustache. Paramount's like, no, we're not. Fuck off.
Yeah,
And they win.
and
It's a great story.
yeah,
I think it's great.
it is a great story because like nobody saw Justice League, and so just the few people who did are like, what the fuck is happening with his face? Why does he look so strange?
Yeah.
But that's that story.
Speaking of an impossible mission, the nut job.
Yeah, they have to steal.
You like that?
Steal those nuts.
Do you like that?
do
I
like
thought that was good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right.
Also, I forgot to say this at the beginning, but when you Google the nut job, the thing that comes up, the reason why you should watch it is because it's thrilling, zany, and hilarious. So I just thought that should set the tone of us talking about it because it is
Thrilling.
zany,
And
and
hilarious.
hilarious.
And nutty.
It's nuts.
And it's very zany. It's very zany.
Yes.
Yeah, this movie has like cocaine energy.
It does. We start with voiceover from Will Arnett,
Yes.
and it's basically like, I live my life at a quarter mile at a time. Blah, 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 blah. This park is mine. The city's mine.
I
All
love
the nuts are mine.
I love Will Arnett because he's so funny. He's like a really good comedian,
Yeah.
and then he just does 50 animated movies every year.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like
Great.
he just has a good voice for it. Like
Yeah.
the year this movie came out, he played Batman 5 times in Lego short films.
Yeah.
um,
It's fantastic.
yeah.
So yeah, he's trying to do this like heist on this nut cart
Yes.
that this guy is manning. And then we cut to the park colony.
Yes.
I'm choosing to call them the colony because they just refer to themselves as the park. For the park, brethren. Liam Neeson is like the raccoon leader, and he keeps saying brethren, and I'm just like, what kind of organization is this? But he's like, but Andy, played by voiced by Katherine Heigl, which I don't know what she's doing at 2014 at this time. Some stuff, I think.
The nut job.
Right, the nut job.
What
And
more do you need?
yeah, and she's, the nice squirrel. She's like, we need to get all the nuts and we need to share it with everybody. And the raccoon's like, yes, but don't trust Surly. Take Grayson with you. Enter in
Brendan
Fraser,
Fraser, our guy.
voicing Grayson the hero squirrel.
And this is not the first time he's basically done the same kind of.
Exact
Dude.
same character. He's basically Thunder Thigh guy, whatever the fuck his name is.
Scorched Supernova from Escape from Planet Earth.
Well, no.
Put some respect on that name.
Turbo Thunder. He's also like, this is Turbo Thunder. This is Scorched Supernova. It's all the same with this Grayson.
Because he just kind of has that like stupid Superman voice.
I'm the hero. Come to save the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Like that's like literally his.
That was
whole-
actually a pretty good Brendan right there.
Thank you. I've been practicing
pretty
that
good.
one.
But yeah, he plays that same archetype in this movie.
Yeah.
For the third time in an animated movie.
Yeah.
And he comes in, all tough, big and bad, and does not go well.
Yeah, no. So Andy, Grayson, and like a couple of the other like animal folks, they try to like get the nut cart, but Surly's already gotten there. The dude is being like harassed by this Girl Scout, which as somebody who's also been harassed by Girl Scouts, I can totally understand where he's coming from, why the police would need to get involved, why there'd be a witness who would have to corroborate the nut cart dude's story.
The nut job.
Because they're all fucking liars, okay? You see?
See?
You weren't a Girl Scout. Were you ever in Girl Scouts, Francis?
I was for 1 year because I wanted an American Girl doll. I sold a bunch of cookies. I just got like a friendship bracelet, and I said I'm done with this
That's
organization.
brutal.
You got it. You cheated
Yeah.
the system. That's good. That's really
Yeah.
good.
I was like, I'm not about that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't give you, they don't give you the, it's about teaching entrepreneurship, and so they didn't give you the adequate, respect.
Compensation.
Yeah, compensation for your work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
The
they
yield
breed.
of your labor.
That's why they breed
I
Girl
know.
Scouts
I
like the
was
ones
a-
in this movie.
Yeah. I was a great salesperson. Like, my house turned into a whole cookie selling operation that year, and then all for nothing.
Became a
It's quite
front
a
for
bummer.
money laundering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Girl Scouts need to unionize. They're being
They do
exploited.
need
They need to
union.
unionize.
Well, the thing is, they kind of did unionize. They combined all the Boys and Girl Scouts into Scouts now.
Is it just called Scouts?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Yeah, they're all
I
just
think
Scouts.
so, yeah.
I, for one, am for it.
Yeah, whenever I go to the grocery store and the Girl Scouts are out front with the cookies, like, I get back in my car. No.
You just look at them and you give them the plate. Oh no, thank you. And then you're like, ugh.
Yeah, I always feel so bad.
For
'Cause-
who?
For them, because like I
For
didn't
the
buy
girl-
their cookies.
I don't think they care that much, Jeff.
Like, you want to buy some cookies? I'm like, sorry. It's like, I feel bad.
Sorry, I'm clearly broke as I'm walking out of the grocery store
Yeah.
buying my 5th handle of vodka.
Yeah.
Clearly don't have spare cash for you. Very sorry.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Anyway, this Girl Scout almost blows the entire criminal operation.
Yeah, and then something happens and there's a dog.
Yeah.
And the dog, like, they have to sneak around the dog, but something goes.
Precious.
Yes. Is this Precious in this?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes,
This
because
is
that
Precious,
guy
yeah.
is like the bank robber dude that we find out later. Because he's setting up his nut cart to like watch the bank and like scope it out, which we find out later.
Yeah.
Something happens. The nut cart turns into a rocket just before our very eyes. And starts wheeling off, and it's Surly, Andy, and Grayson all like holding onto this cart, and they're trying to like.
And Buddy.
And Buddy,
Buddy's
yeah.
there. He's quiet. Buddy the quiet rat.
Yeah, the quiet mouse rat. I don't know.
I think he's a rat. He's a rat.
Yeah, but he's,
He's
a
like
good.
a cute one, though.
He's a good rat. He's not a bad rat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are good rats. There are bad rats. As Stephen Lang voicing the king in this movie says, there are bad rats. There are good rats. But yeah, all 4 of them are on this cart, and it's like a whoa. Yeah. And then it crashes.
Wait, can you do that again?
Whoa.
That is the exact vibe.
Oh, and meanwhile, in the park, Liam Neeson's like, they're all checking out their little like food stash that's
Yes.
in this big massive oak tree.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm afraid that there's not enough food to get us through the winter. And then there's like this mouse that goes, we're gonna die, and like they're all flipping out, but they have like enough, but like they're all gonna die basically. But they're like, don't worry, Grayson's coming back. And then you cut back to this like rocket powered nut cart zooming around.
It's essentially the same opening as Bug's Life,
Yeah.
where like they have like the stash of food, and then the main character ruins it.
Yeah.
Except
he
unlike
gets
Bug's
banished.
Life, he's sent to fix it, and this one they just kick him out.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'll say. Everyone was saying that was Surly's fault, but it wasn't really if you actually watch. Like, it was Grayson who like opens up the little nozzle thing that makes it like take off.
Yeah, he
And then I can't remember why the fire came about, but it was like Surly was just kind of there to like get the bag and get out.
yeah, it's
Everyone else
else's,
kind of screwed things up, but he was just kind of there. So
everyone else's
guy.
intervention really screws it up. Also, I want to talk about Raccoon real quick.
We want to talk about Liam Neeson's raccoon.
Yeah, before the thing hits the tree.
Brethren.
So why does everyone in this movie have a name, but he's
the raccoon. Yeah. Because who's his parents' name? What's his parents' name?
Chester and Martha.
Chester and Martha.
Like whenever you make a movie about like funny little animals,
And they're named after their animal.
you either have to name them all after the animal, or they have to have names. Like you
Right.
can't have Dog the dog and then like Sally the cat.
Oh, wait. In the nut job, hang on. He actually does have a different name. Like when you look at him as the cast. Yeah, he does. But they just all call him Raccoon. So Liam Neeson plays Norverus Raccoon.
Norverus
Norverus?
Raccoon.
Is that a name?
That is,
I guess so. I'm a bit worried now saying it. I'm like, oh no, I wonder if this is like an adjective that I don't know, and now I sound like a fool saying that's his name.
that is a Star
But
Trek
yeah,
Into
that's
Darkness, John Harrison, my name is Khan, if I've ever heard one before.
So I've looked up Norvirus, and there is the norovirus, in which you just remove the O from the name. Norovirus, sometimes referred to as the winter vomiting disease, is the most common form of gastroenteritis. Infection is characterized by non-bloody diarrhea, vomiting, and stomach pain. Fever or
love
headaches
this.
may also occur, and that is what this raccoon is named after.
Ladies and gentlemen who are watching this while eating their McDonald's in the car, are you enjoying this? Are you enjoying this deep description of the norovirus? Can we hear that one more time, but in greater detail?
So we should have known from the beginning. I've already X'd out, otherwise I would have done the greater detail.
Great.
I didn't want to look at pictures of cells anymore.
Oh, they were about
like-
to say excrement.
No, it was like pictures of like cells and like a virus formation.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Mhm.
I'm interested.
Yeah, I can tell. But anyway, so his name's never said in the movie, but he's named Norvirus, and we should have known from the beginning that he was villainous.
Yeah.
With
He's a raccoon.
with a name like that.
Raccoons are
Whoa,
all...
whoa!
What?
Well, it's like no, you're just gonna loop them all in.
Yeah. The nut job loops them all in, okay? Name one good raccoon in this movie.
There's only one raccoon.
Yeah. My point exactly.
Oh my god!
They're good squirrels, they're bad squirrels. There's one bad raccoon.
There's good rats and bad rats.
Also, you notice that there's only one mole, and what does that mole do? He's a mole for the bad guys.
He is a mole.
This movie enforces
Yeah.
ugly stereotypes.
Yes, it does. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the movie.
I'm gonna go apologize to a raccoon today.
Well, we live in Chicago. There's plenty around.
Yeah, there's one in our alley like a few days ago.
Yeah?
He's kind of like looked at me.
We're still talking about raccoons,
Just
right?
say I'm so sorry for Norvirus's actions.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna start a movement called Not All Raccoons.
Not all raccoons.
Yeah, it's like the Not All Men movement. Not All
Oh,
Raccoons.
no. No. Okay, moving on.
So this nut cart ends up hitting the big oak tree.
Yes,
And
and
it catches on fire.
Explode!
it explodes. There's a massive explosion.
Yeah, there's a massive explosion. Brendan is in it. I'm like, did they just kill him off?
It would be really funny.
I'm like, are we watching this movie because of that 3-minute performance? But no, he does
But
make
no,
it out.
yeah, he makes it out.
But he's not in it much more. Like throughout it, like Grayson just kind of like rolls up, rolls out. Like he's not, but he's like probably like number 3 or 4 on the call sheet or something.
Yeah.
Because he's still like, because 2 of the other main characters just don't talk at all and have no actor attached.
You know, I wonder if you like make a movie, like this is an animated movie, but if you make like a movie with like a dog as the lead, how does that like work on a call sheet? Like insider baseball question. like let's say you're doing Homeward Bound and it's just the day where it's like the 3 of them and they're on the lake.
I think it's the trainers.
Like, does the trainer get put on the cast list, or is it like?
I don't think so.
And do you just then list like no cast for the day?
Well, I think. I mean, I don't know.
think so.
I think we've worked on a few things with some like dogs, and I feel like in all of our cases, it's always been like the dog. I've never seen a dog mentioned in the call sheet. I've seen a dog mentioned in like the notes section and the personal trainer and like the special labor
Yeah.
section of a call sheet, but I've never seen like
On the cast
like on
part.
like it would not be like number 1 Shadow Buster.
Yeah.
This is the dog's real name.
You know what it is? I don't think that they would have to, because you wouldn't be putting the trainers unless they're like SAG for some reason.
Yeah, 'cause that's
you wouldn't
the-
be putting
yeah.
the trainers or the dogs on the exhibit G
Right,
at the end of
exactly.
the night. So that's why they wouldn't be
You're
there.
not shooting anything with any actors that day if you're shooting with dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a branch of IATSE that's for animal trainers? Do
I
animal
think
trainers
so.
have a
I can't
union?
remember what they're in. I think that they are in a union. I just can't remember which one.
That's a
We just
great-
like on the last show I did, we did this whole thing with like where we had like twin cats and the trainers. There were like 4 of them, and we were like, that's like 2 people per cat. It was kind of a whole operation.
Guess what union handles animal handlers? Because I found out.
Is it? It's IATSE, right?
It is not IATSE.
Oh my god.
It is Teamsters Local 399.
No! No way.
Yeah, Teamsters Local 399.
The Teamsters handle the dogs? Holy shit. God. For our audience who are not like into film production, we apologize, but this is big. This is so big.
It looks like there's like some IATSE representation of animal handlers as well, but it's also Teamsters. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm a little lost.
I kind of like that.
All right, we're going to get the dogs and we're going to bring them in from the back.
See like the Teamster walk up to the director like, Miss Director, if the dog ain't behaving, just let me know. Just let me know. I'll take care of it. Like, take care of it how? What are you going to do to the dog?
What are you doing, Tony? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. I'll make it behave.
I am sick
Oh my
and
gosh.
tired of these damn dogs and cats.
On my channel. Anyway.
Okay, so the tree explodes. Surly is exiled.
Yes.
He is sent into the desert,
Yeah. Which is the city?
which is the city, Oakton.
Oakton? Is that the name of the
Yeah,
city?
it's called Oakton
Huh.
because there's a
Oakton.
big oak tree in the center.
I didn't.
In theory, they kind of have destroyed the
The city tree.
That would be the equivalent of like bombing the bean or something. No.
I thought you were about to be like the white tree of Minas Tirith in Gondor.
I mean, it would be the equivalent of that as well.
Yeah.
I was talking in real world.
Real world stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you think that's the bean equivalent?
Maybe it isn't the bean, but like
I
imagine
think
if
for
like
them it might be like it seems pretty small, pretty not a lot going on.
Yeah.
like what if the Liberty Bell just got hit with a flying hot dog cart and exploded? Like that, it kind of feels like what this is.
Be really funny.
That
would be
happened.
really funny. Okay.
Okay, so he's exiled.
He's exiled. He's going out into the city. And Buddy wants to go with him. But he's like, no, Buddy, you can't. This is a path I walk alone.
But Buddy is a true friend and sticks with him.
Yeah, because
And Surly keeps like pushing him away and stuff. I just want to say when I was watching this, I think it was right at this moment, I was like, Surly Squirrel is like the precursor for BoJack Horseman for Will Arnett. Like, if you watch it and you just think about that the whole time, you're like, okay, what's his face? Buddy is like Todd.
Mhm.
And it's like almost the same character, just like the PG version of it, you
This is
know?
his trial run.
That's like all I could think about. Yeah, this was him like testing out the waters for the character, but it's like it's literally like the same character but PG.
That's actually interesting. That's actually a thing.
yeah.
That was my thought through the whole movie, and it just got confirmed the more I watched
Yeah.
with each scene.
Free trial BoJack.
Free trial of BoJack.
Yeah.
I paid $3.99 to watch this movie.
I
too.
did too. That's why we've got to describe it pretty well because no one's going to be able to watch it for free.
Yeah, we collectively put together over $10.
It was on the Roku channel for free, but I don't have a Roku.
Yeah, same.
And like,
Yeah.
who is the time?
Who simply has the time?
Did you also watch it on YouTube or did you watch it on Apple TV?
I rented it on Amazon
Same.
Oh.
Prime.
I did
Video.
YouTube because I was like, I don't know what to do.
Francis likes to support the
It's like
smaller
I'm in a
business.
Support small business.
Small
YouTube.
business or the big pharma guys. Oh man.
I just use Prime. Like Prime
Well-
Video doesn't always give best playback like quality,
Yeah.
but I just like use it because it's easy and it has
It
all my
is
shit
easy.
saved.
Hey, we got to support the mom pie YouTube shop,
Yeah.
okay? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
got to keep them afloat.
Now you got to use Tubi if you want to support like.
Tubi.
We've never used Tubi.
Yeah.
I think haven't we had to have
Yeah,
used
we've
Tubi
used Tubi's great because it gives you like commercials like you're watching it on TV.
in the early 2000s.
Yeah, like it's like you watch it and then it's just like, does your back hurt?
Why was I also about to go to a
God.
medicine commercial? Literally, I was like, "Do you have uncontrollable gastroenteritis?"
Yeah, norovirus.
Norovirus.
Did you come across a raccoon that gave you the norovirus? Well, don't worry. There's a lot of people out there because raccoons fucking suck.
Oh, God. We're losing our raccoon audience.
It's okay. You know what they dig for in the trash?
What?
White Castle.
God.
They dig for White Castle because they know
Yeah.
nothing but the taste of shit.
Yeah, that's fair. Honestly, fair. Like they would, if you put White Castle in the trash, that raccoon would be
That
thrilled.
raccoon will eat it,
He'd
and
be thrilled.
and they'll love
It'd
it.
be the best day of his
And it's
fucking life.
disgusting. Gross.
Vendettas. Okay, so he's like, we're trying really hard not to talk about the nut job right now. It's
When I had to pick you up from the airport, Jeff,
yeah,
do you know where I parked and stayed before I had to pick you up?
White Castle.
A White Castle parking lot. And Angelica was with me, and she gave me the biggest grief of all.
Oh God,
I want you to know
why'd you park at the White Castle?
because it was like the closest like parking lot, so I didn't have to like just keep circling around
Yeah.
the terminal.
There's a cell phone lot.
Yeah, but there's a gate with the cell phone lot. Like I don't know how, I've never been to the Midway cell phone
Okay.
lot. I don't trust it.
It doesn't charge you.
What is
but-
it? What does it mean, cell phone lot? Like what's cell phone about it?
Well, it's because when cell phones were first introduced, that was like a novel concept.
Okay.
And so it's like you can park there and they'll call you on your cell phone. With the idea.
Okay.
All right, so he's exiled and he's walking around the city, and he like basically immediately finds. Oh no, he comes across some like bad rats.
This like gay. I wish this movie was a musical because this would have been the perfect like bad guy rats in the alley, bad guy rats. Like literally, it just gave me all those like
Yeah.
1940 like Chicago musical vibes.
Here
like,
come the rats.
Here come the rats. The rats.
No, isn't the West Side Story song "Here Come the Jets" like a bat out of hell?
Maybe?
Here come the rats like a rat out of hell.
Yeah, basically. I wish that's what we
That
got.
could work.
I
But-
just watched West Side Story a few days ago, so that's why it's on my mind.
How is it? The
It's
newer
great.
one?
No, I've seen it before, but it's great.
Oh,
It's a good
okay.
movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
This should have been like a West Side Story-esque musical number for with the rats coming, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. They were just
Mm.
going to kill the squirrel with the poison.
So he barely like escapes these rats.
Yeah.
But Buddy saves him, and that's when they get like when he's like, "All right, Buddy, you can stick around." Like Buddy kind of proves his worth.
Yeah.
Pulls his weight in the big city.
Yeah.
And that's when they come
Yeah.
across Nirvana, the nut shop.
Yeah.
This is when we hit minute 21 of the film.
We've reached minute 47 on the podcast. Remember we said we're going to be done by like 11? It is 11 o'clock now.
No, I never said we would. I said there's potential that this is a shorter episode because I'm not sure how much we can say about
That translates to the same thing, Jeff.
Yeah, I said potential. I did not say confirmation. But no. So yeah, they see the nut store.
They see the nut store.
Simultaneously, we cut back to the forest or the park.
And this is like the scene in Bug's Life where they're like picking up scraps of food
Yeah.
and they're very sad and depressed.
But Andy,
Whoa. Hang on. Before we cut back to that is the moment that we said we were going to talk about later, the magical minute 21,
Oh,
where they
God.
see the nut store and they start dancing the Gangnam Style.
They don't have
They're
the
I can't
cute.
words.
believe you're about to pass over that.
They-
Oh my gosh.
they-
I was
they-
like, wait.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They leave the lyrics out on this one. This is just like the soundtrack to it. But I mean, you clock it right away. You're like, is this
Oh, yeah.
Gangnam Style?
you know what you know what's violent about it?
Violent?
Yeah. So Gangnam Style comes out July of 2012.
Yes.
By the time this movie comes out, like America does no longer have Gangnam Style fever.
No.
America does not have Gangnam Style fever anymore. It's been 2 years.
They were very late on that train.
But the thing is, this like resuscitates Gangnam Style fever.
Does this movie resuscitate Gangnam Style fever? Is there a wave of Gangnam Style after this movie?
Not inherently, but Stuart, I was waiting until the end for this. This is like Brendan Fraser's biggest hit in like 3 years.
Oh,
This movie.
Yeah, it's his overall, it's his 7th highest grossing film.
Wait a minute.
Is that the fun fact you had?
That was my fun fact that I've been so excited to share.
Yeah. And so people did see this, and this like does kind of bring back Gangnam Style.
I don't want to be here anymore. I just
It came in like just under the 6th highest, which was George of the Jungle.
this
So
just
that's
barely missed George of the Jungle.
Yes.
What's below this movie?
I think it's Escape from Planet Earth. It's either that or another. Escape from Planet Earth is like either like 8 or 9. It's either his 8th or 9th highest.
You mean to tell me
I can't remember which.
we've
though.
been talking about Brendan Fraser for 55 movies now,
Yeah.
and 6 of he's only got like really, really, truly 6 hits.
Yeah. I'm pulling up the
What you're not calling the nut job a hit, Stuart?
this movie quadruples its production budget. This movie made for 30 million, makes 120. Hence the sequel, which Brendan does not come back for.
He does not.
Stuart, you look distressed.
I am distressed. I guess we can move on with the plot. I just wow.
Okay, so
It
here
really broke me.
here are Brendan Fraser's hits, top 10. His highest grossing movie, The Mummy Returns. Second highest grossing, The Mummy. Third highest grossing, The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. 4, G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. 5, Journey to the Center of the Earth. 6, George of the Jungle. 7, The Nut Job. 8, Crash.
Yeah!
9, Bedazzled. 10, Escape from Planet Earth.
I wonder, was that before The Whale though? Because The Whale might change that.
This
I
is
feel like
not
what's this
before
from?
The Whale. The Whale is currently rocking number 13.
Whoa!
Which
So
makes
the nut
sense.
job is better than The Whale, is what I'm getting.
Francis, your connection's getting a little rough here.
It's about to end the episode.
Hold on a second. Let me tweak some things here.
Yeah, this movie is a hit, and Gangnam Style. It does, in fact, like it doesn't like fully resuscitate it, but it is like Gangnam Style was kind of out of pop culture by that point. We kind of like forgot, not forgotten, but like kind of been like moved on to the next thing.
Where were you when Gangnam Style was like taking over American homes?
In high school.
I had it was very unfortunate. I was in middle school at the time. So like 5th grade, so like your peak weirdness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was like a whole personality trait for my friend group and I, like for a solid month.
Yeah.
Just knowing that song, knowing how to do the dance. It's I don't like to talk about it.
I don't like to talk about it, but it must be discussed.
See, like, because I
It had
remember,
to.
I remember Gangnam Style briefly, because it was around the same time. Tell me if I'm wrong about this, but I feel like Gangnam Style came out around a similar time frame when the Harlem Shake came out. Do y'all remember the
Yeah.
Harlem Shake?
I haven't thought of the Harlem Shake
Oh, yeah.
since the Harlem Shake.
What's like the first like words of that? It's like oh gaturita. I can't remember what it was.
You can do the Harlem Shake.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. I remember
I
like
feel like wasn't it kind of around the same time as planking too?
yeah.
Wasn't that like all sort of the
God,
same
what
vibe?
was
Yeah.
going on in 2012? What were we
It
doing?
was very unhinged times.
Very unhinged. I just remember my high school at one
America at a
pep
time
rally.
of transition.
Like and at my high school during a pep rally, they did like a Harlem Shake, and they got like the whole school to do it, and it was looking back at it the most cringe thing ever.
You've ever been a
Oh
part
my
of.
God.
Yeah, because like every single white high school in America did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So the
Cursed.
nut job.
So the nut job. So
I'm like reading the history of Gangnam Style. Right
that's
now.
great. So yeah, the nut job. So yeah, Raccoon. He's they're gathering all this food, and the raccoon Liam Neeson's like, yeah, it looks like we're not gonna have enough money for the winter. Oh darn.
Yeah.
And then Andy's like, well, let me go out into the city and look for food. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, only if you take Grayson with you.
And she's like, Grayson's not doing well.
Yeah, Grayson's like suffering like a severe concussion
Yeah.
and some brain damage, but
He still goes along.
he goes along and like 30 seconds pass by and Grayson gets like, I don't know.
He gets into a fight with a rat.
Yeah.
They get whipped off, and we don't see them again for like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's, like it's 20, 30
Yeah.
minutes.
We don't see him again until like the final third of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just goes away.
It would have been good if he never came back. That would have been funny.
That would have been really funny.
Yeah.
Because then I could just stop watching the movie.
But you wouldn't know you could stop watching.
Right, I
Yeah.
guess that's true.
You'd have to
You'd get
watch it.
tricked into watching the full nut job.
Yeah, you'd have to watch it and then invert yourself, go back in time, and retake your former position.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so what happens next?
The thing is, basically from this point on, the movie kind of is just the same thing for like an hour.
Yeah, because Andy and
Yeah.
Surly meet up and they're like, I found some nuts.
Oh, well, they meet up after, like, he's already, like, gotten in. Him and Buddy are, like, hanging out in the nut store. Meanwhile, the humans are, like, plotting this heist. And, you know, they're, like, doing their thing. They're like, oh, there's fucking rats in here. Except they don't say that. They're like, oh, there's rats in here. And, like...
This movie uses one contractually obligated F-bomb. It's like, whoa!
I had that thought in the middle of this movie of like, God damn it, if I just wish they could have said the F-bomb once. I'm like, I'm sick and tired of these goddamn motherfucking rats. It just starts blasting off bullets.
It's like basically what they're saying. And then we meet this character also who he never talks. Another one of those like kind of integral characters who just doesn't talk, who can hear the dog whistle.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't know what his thing is. He was just kind of this weirdo who like was there and then ended up like double the whole thing. But then they meet the dog and they get in this whole thing with the dog, and then Andy takes the dog whistle from what's his face? Sure. Shirley.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Do you know one of the names of one of the gangsters?
Fingers! Francis, we covered a movie called
The Air I Breathe.
The Air I Breathe, and there's a mob boss in it named Fingers. And so I'm choosing to believe this is his origin story.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, this is how he got into
I think the
this.
writers thought that too.
They all watched The Air I
They
Breathe.
coordinated.
Yeah, I think so.
The thing about this movie is that the mob boss is named King. And
Yes.
he's played by Stephen Lang,
Yes.
who's Quaritch, the bad guy in Avatar.
He's in other things, Jeff.
He's best known as Quaritch from Avatar.
I like to think that
The
he's-
two highest grossing movies of all time, and he's the villain in them.
Okay. He's in other things, though.
The thing is, he does a really good De Niro impression.
Yeah.
To the extent I kept thinking this is actually De Niro. And I'm like, no, it's Stephen Lang.
Well, in 2014, you'd believe it was De Niro.
Yeah. But, like, I just want to shout out. That is actually, he's giving a good performance in this movie for something he does not have any reason to.
Like you said, like he has a good like De Niro impression, or he's doing a good performance.
No, like he's doing a really good De Niro impression. He's putting like the work into it. Like he could just show up and say the lines, and they would have put it in.
Yeah.
Like I just want to give him credit for that.
I think there's some weird kind of, I don't know what it was about this movie. Like, I don't know how it went, but so there's that, right? And then I watched a video of Brendan Fraser, like, doing his recording, and he just looks like he's having the time of his life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys watched that video, but he's getting so into it, and when they cut, he just like starts like dying laughing. And I don't know like what was going on in those recording sessions, but it just seems like everybody was just like having a ball. And I don't know what was going on there, but it's just this movie where everyone who was doing it was super into it for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like
And like just
a live action actor, like that's where you cut your teeth, and you like do an animated movie like this. Essentially, you like come in for a day, and just get to like yell and kind of have fun in a recording booth. Then you get paid for it.
mm-hmm.
It's like kind of a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure like they were all having fun doing this. And, like, Steven, do a De Niro impression and yell about rats. He's like, all right. And then he's like, hey, you want to talk about rats? You want to talk about rats? What you doing? What you doing? You bringing the rats in here? That's my De Niro. It's not very good.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right.
Yeah, I just want to, give him credit. But from this point on, the movie enters the cycle of Surly and Buddy try and steal nuts. Because like, the criminal's plan is they're going to tunnel under the street into the bank, replace all the bags of money with bags of nuts,
Yeah.
and then zip out of town before anyone notices. Doesn't work.
Here's the problem. They still have a hole in the floor.
Yeah.
There's still a hole at the vault floor that somebody has to address at some point.
Well, they're just going to put a rug over it.
Well,
Some
you
guy steps
can't-
on it and falls through the rug.
Yeah, you can't tell me that it's like, oh, there's a hole in the floor. That's no problem. Wait a minute, there's nuts in these bags. Like, yeah, it just doesn't seem to make sense to me. But
It's not the most well thought out plan.
no.
I think the logic is sound. I think it works out.
Okay, but Francis, the hole in the floor, how do you justify it?
I feel like they had lots of plans that they were like, this is going to be great until it actually came to executing it. And then, because there was the whole thing where the squirrels, like at the end, like at the final heist, the squirrels like bring the little cart all the way back. And then they I think it just kind of messed with their flow and they got thrown off. I think it would have been perfect if these squirrels and such weren't there. That's my thought.
Do you think they
I think they did have a plan for it. I think they did, but
they
I
had
think
a
they got
plan
thwarted
for the
by the
floor.
squirrels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Clearly,
That's
one of
my
them was a
thought. That's my
carpenter, and they were
optimistic
going to
thought.
reinstall the floor.
Yeah.
They were gonna reinstall like the
Yeah.
floor and bolt it all up.
Stuart, have you ever seen Small Time Crooks?
I have not.
Okay, so there's this movie. It's called Small Time Crooks. It's a Woody Allen movie, so you got to take it with that.
Okay.
But the first 20 minutes of it are the funniest movie I've ever seen. The rest of it's like fine, it's entertaining. But the first 20 minutes is basically like these 4 washed-up criminals open a cookie store, so that in the basement they can drill into the bank next door, and steal all the money. The gimmick of the movie is that the cookie store ends up taking off and becoming a massively successful business. And so now they're stuck with this hole in the floor that they need to address. But I think that's basically where they pulled the idea for this element of the movie from.
Gotcha.
But Small Time Crooks, really funny movie if you ever get a chance.
Gotcha. Directed by Woody Allen.
Yeah, that's the yikes of it all.
So I mean, I know we said like at this point, Andy and Surly kind of make a soft contract agreement with each other that in exchange for like helping them like get into the basement, which is not hard to do.
Yeah.
They're making all these elaborate plans to get into the basement. Like
The door is open.
the door's open. They can just go in.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's so complicated, but I guess they got to dig a hole
Yeah.
in. But yeah, they make a contract deal where like, once they get the nuts, they'll split it 50-50.
Yeah.
And then there's all this talks about like, oh, like he's going to double cross you. And then Raccoon gets like, no, I must control all the food of the park because that's how you control the masses because capitalism works. Fucking Raccoon.
Yeah, Raccoon sucks. But like, would I be incorrect in saying basically the next like 45 minutes of the movie, like there's not really much to say because they go in, they get a bag of nuts, they're like, hey, this plan worked, and then something goes wrong, they get kicked out, that plan doesn't work anymore. They have to dig in a different way. Like that happens like 3 times. It's just the same scene.
Well, I think it is worth talking about because at the end of that 45-minute stretch, who comes back but Grayson the
Yes.
squirrel?
Yes.
He comes back at the very end of this like mid element where it's just like repetition. It's like watching like you feel insane because it's just like the same thing keeps happening.
Tears start coming from your eyes.
You start falling from your eyes.
And so then at that point, that's when Raccoon and Mole start to do like some double crossing action. And it's at this point when like Surly finds out about Raccoon's plan. And then Raccoon double crosses the team because at this point, the robbers have the money and they put like the plan was they were gonna load each truck. They have 2 trucks, both with some money.
Yeah.
But what Stephen Lang's King does is he loads one truck with nuts.
Yeah.
And his truck with money.
Ah, nuts.
He's double crossing the guys because it's a metaphor for what Surly's gonna do to the park.
Yeah, so
This movie very good.
there's like 3 layers to the heist. There's like the criminals robbing the bank, King robbing the criminals, the squirrels robbing King, and then Raccoon trying to rob the squirrels.
That's 4 layers.
I realized that as I was saying it, that I wasn't going to quite even out to my original.
It's a very complicated movie. There's lots of depth to it.
There's a lot of layers. It's like an onion.
Yes.
Ogres
have layers.
Yes.
Sorry. I just watched that recently.
You watch Shrek?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I've never seen it before.
You have definitely seen
Wait,
Shrek
what?
before.
No.
This is like the silliest bullshit you've ever tried to hit me with, that you haven't seen Shrek.
No.
What's your end game here?
We've talked about this.
We have not talked about this.
Yeah.
Have you at least seen Shrek 2?
I've seen all the sequels, but the first Shrek.
Yeah, I truly don't believe this.
No, I really have never seen Shrek before until like just a few nights ago.
This is not true.
It is true.
This is simply not true.
I can't really prove it to you though.
Yeah, I know you can't, because it's not true. I can't prove to you that I was the former president of the United States, because it's not true.
All right.
Um,
I think it's silly for you to stand your ground firm that I've definitely
I'm
seen.
literally texting your girlfriend right now to ask her if this is true.
Do it.
And now you're texting her to say, please cover me. Okay.
No, I'm just saying Jeff's about to text you about me watching Shrek.
Okay. Anyway, so, this whole heist gets out, like basically a Mission Impossible-esque fight breaks out between the 2 moving vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
There's Raccoon and Shirley are fighting each other.
Yeah.
While
The Red Bird.
The Red Bird gets involved
The Red
and
Bird.
dies for his actions.
Well, can we just talk about the Red Bird for a second? Every time the Red Bird is like taken action, it has like gotten demolished and just shat on. First thing that happens, it gets like ran over by a semi truck. Then like it gets like run over by a tire, and then it gets like shot into the fucking like cat expo show or something. Like this cat goes through the ringer.
But he also just looks so unbothered through it all. Like he's like, "Yep, that's the job, that's the life."
It's
you
the
know,
Terminator
he
bird.
accepts his fate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
He's just built different.
I like that this bird dies for. It's the only character to die in the movie for its transgressions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no,
every-
it doesn't die.
Does it come back?
Have you not seen the end credits?
He always comes back.
Did he come back in the end credits?
You saw the end.
I watched
the
like
cutscene.
I watched like the
Yeah.
side dancing.
No.
Was there
There's a-
something else?
There's a whole other cutscene at the end.
Oh shit! I see this now.
Oh, I didn't watch the cutscene.
Oh,
I went to
friends.
bed.
Oh,
I'm
friends.
reading it on Wikipedia now. I'm reading what.
It's not.
Wait.
It's not that like.
What's the
interesting.
cutscene?
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. I'll talk about it. So yeah, then they get on this bridge. The cops have them surrounded, and then they're trying to move the money and the nuts, but then one of the robbers blows up a truck. But then the other truck runs. I don't know how it goes off the bridge.
Yeah. So
Somebody loses control.
yeah. So King's driving it, and
I
they're
remember.
getting chased by the cops.
Yeah, and they get surrounded. One of the guys blows up a truck. He starts driving towards the cops like road stop.
Yeah.
But then one
With
cop,
TNT in the back.
yeah, and when the one cop
He's gonna
closes
blow
his
him
eyes, he shoots it. It hits the tire, and then they run off the bridge.
Yeah.
So this truck and everybody else, they're like in the water at this point, and
And nuts are just floating everywhere.
nuts are floating everywhere.
I really want to talk about something with this river in a little bit.
Okay.
But we'll finish the scene first.
Well, to go back real quick, there's one thing where when Raku was talking to one of his dudes in the park, he said, well, maybe Surly can get us the nuts. And he's like, when Surly gets us some nuts, that's the same day nuts will rain from the sky. Pay attention to that.
Yes.
It's so stupid.
Mm,
Back to the river. They're flowing down the river, and
Yeah.
then
They're fighting atop a log.
yeah,
Mhm.
Raccoon and Surly.
Yes. And everyone else is like on a different log, like, no!
Yeah, and then
Mhm.
and then eventually like Surly and Raccoon they fall, but Surly's holding on, and he does sacrificial plays like tell my friends and children that I love them
Yeah.
very much. Take the food to the park,
Mhm.
Yeah.
feed the little
Yep.
ones, and then he just lets go.
Yeah.
And,
And
does,
so he and Raccoon go
he
over
pulls
the
Scarlett
waterfall.
Johansson Avengers Endgame move.
Yeah, they go over the waterfall.
Yeah.
But and then we cut to the rest of them on the log, the rest of the characters floating down the river towards the city.
And they get to the park.
Okay, I don't know if what's his fucking name? Peter Lepiniotis understands how rivers work.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because all of the nuts and Surly go over a waterfall,
Yes.
which implies the river is running toward the waterfall.
Yes.
We then see the other characters on a log floating the other way
yes.
towards the city with the current,
Yes.
implying the river's flowing that way.
Yes.
Both these things cannot be true.
Right.
But then, when they get back to the city, all of the nuts and Surly flow in the same direction that the other fucking scumbags come in.
Yeah.
How does this work? It's implying that the river flows in two ways, and
they-
both of them wind up at the same
And they
spot.
come back together?
Yes. That's the implication.
Is that impossible that rivers split up and then come back together?
Like, I'm going to draw real quick what this river would have to look like. And not only discounting the fact that it apparently flows at the point of the waterfall in two separate directions, which would mean that there would just be a dry bed there because all the water would disappear.
Oh,
That's why rivers don't work this way. So, yeah, that's the waterfall. Cool. And then we have the river, and it goes to the city.
This drawing, Francis, let me tell you.
It's real good work on my end. So, here's what would have to happen. Okay. So, okay.
Yeah, that
So,
that happens.
The water has to go like this, off a waterfall, come back up,
Francis,
rejoin the stream,
Jeff,
and then float.
Francis can't see that.
I had to show it to you first.
Okay.
So, okay. So that's like what it has to
Maybe was there like some dam that we didn't see that was in play, or like maybe it's just they were fueled by the power of sadness at the loss of Surly. That could be it.
Stuart, real quick aside, I saw your girlfriend texting you about the scheme you're trying to pull with me with Shrek right now. I saw her message come up on the screen.
Okay. What
Like,
is-
this is like a very silly con you're
No,
pulling.
she just asked me like, does he know it was the first time you watched it?
This is like so silly.
What'd she respond to you?
Don't.
I think we've got to pull up the receipts.
I can open your messages right now.
It's my laptop.
I know. I'm just saying I could do it. Anyway, the river. It flows. It doesn't work. The physics don't make sense. But somehow it leads to all. Unless I get some like Jesus-esque, the water just turns around.
You're very fired up about this river.
Like if you're gonna make shout out the Travolting stick on your water bottle, by the way, Francis. Just wanna give a thumbs up to that. Like if you're gonna do this, give me you could just have like a second river that kind of goes around the side and isn't a waterfall. You could just do that. That would be easy.
Okay.
Like you could have just been like, yeah, there's a tributary and it kind of goes around the waterfall and is like kind of a gradual decline.
Yeah.
And then it all would have made sense.
I think that they just wanted people to kind of focus on the sad moment as opposed to like I think they were more like wrapped up in that like
But now I'm all
then
wrapped up in this
the
river.
logistics of it all, but I know.
They literally sent me on a
I'll
ride
be
down the
honest,
river.
I didn't even think about it until you brought it up. And now I'm like, oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, like,
So congrats, Jeff. You've just ruined the end of the nut job for everyone because all they're going to be thinking about is this river instead of how sad all the squirrels
You
are.
know what?
So,
It's my cross to bear that I've ruined this for everyone. And I will bear it proudly. But you know who also gets to bear something proudly? Surly, because he brings all the nuts to the park.
Yeah, all the nuts flow down the river into the park, into the wheel thing.
Yeah, there's
That
like a
flings them in
Yeah.
the air, and lo and behold, nuts are falling from the sky. Hey,
Yeah,
we
there's-
love those cool moments.
it's nutty.
Very,
And there's nuts, and they fly everywhere. They land everywhere.
it's very.
It's
nutty.
tremendous. Believe me, it's lovely.
Tremendous. No one else could have done this.
More
before.
nuts than you've ever seen in your life, folks.
Yes,
Um,
it was all me.
Yeah,
I did that.
it was all me. I did the nuts. It was great.
It was
Um,
fantastic.
Uh,
Truly tremendous.
tremendous stuff. You never seen so many nuts before in your life.
Billions and billions and
What a,
billions
what a
and billions.
great place
and
that we live. What a terrible spot. Anyway,
They find Surly's dead body.
His corpse washes up.
His corpse washes up, and they bury him, and the movie
He's kind of
fucking
been like
ends.
been eaten by some river fish.
Yeah.
kind of
He's
decomposing.
partly decayed,
Yeah.
missing a leg.
Yeah.
You ever seen like dead squirrels on the sidewalk that clearly have been squished by a
Yeah.
tire?
Oh no.
That's what Surly looks
That's
like.
what Surly looks like right now. They actually cut to a live photo. It's not
real
animated.
squirrel.
This is not an animated
Yeah.
dead squirrel.
But
We're,
yeah,
we're obviously kidding. Surly comes back to
yeah.
life.
Surly like he washes up and he's fine. Andy like kind of pushes the water out of him. And
Well, and then Buddy talks to him.
yeah,
He
what,
hugs him and
what
says,
does Buddy say?
"My best friend."
But he says best friend.
best friend.
And this is when I'm weeping. I'm just like the tears are coming down my face.
This is when I'm throwing my phone at the TV, like he can't fucking talk.
I'm curious if in the sequel Buddy talks. Or if it's like the Transformers thing where Bumblebee gets his voice back at the end of the movie, and they're like, "No, we like the gimmick of him talking with the radio." So the next movie starts, and he's like, "Yeah, he actually can't talk anymore."
I want to know which.
That's like, it's so funny. It's so funny. That's how the second
you
movie
imagine
starts.
that.
I want to know which poor minimum rate SAG actor came in to say those two lines.
I'm seeing Daniel Day-Lewis.
I'm seeing Rob Tinkler, the same guy who voiced Redline, one of the
Is that one of our bad guys?
one of the Badgers, I thought.
Oh.
Rob Tinkler.
Mhm.
Redline's the one who like pops up and is like, "We're all gonna die."
Oh, yeah.
The very last
I
one.
liked him. I liked him.
God damn. All right, so then, yeah. And then we have Will Arnett voiceover saying, "Sharing is caring, socialism rules,"
Yeah,
and then the movie ends. Except,
that is the end of the movie.
except,
Oh yeah,
Except the end credits.
yeah. The credits start.
That was when I slammed my computer shut.
Opern Gangnam
I said,
Style.
that's enough.
Gangnam Style.
I'm not gonna get up. I'm not gonna do the actual thing, but I'll do the horse move thing. I wrote "sigh" in all caps in my notes.
so that is the end credits song. That is the song for the end credits.
Yes.
Is not like not the soundtrack Gangnam Style, the actual song
Oh, it's true.
Gangnam Style.
It is not just the soundtrack.
not-
And they make a little animated
They
sigh.
animated
They
sigh.
go all out.
And he's doing the dance across the credits. And the characters,
Yes.
the animals and the humans, in one big row. We all knew, like kick lines. We all remember kick lines and how fun and awesome they were. This is like a kick line of all your characters. So instead of kicking, they're doing the Gangnam Style dance, including Stephen Lang's King.
Yeah. He's there.
What was it? Donna.
Donna.
Donna's there.
Lana.
Donna.
A character we never even
Lana.
mentioned in the retelling.
You talking about,
Oh.
King-
you talking about
King's,
Lana, the blonde
or
one?
Lana. Lana. That's
She,
what it is.
what was, I don't know if it was just me, but like, was her animation style just looked like so, for some reason, just like so different from everyone else?
It was
It
weird.
looked like she just kind of got like thrown in. I don't know why it was so jarring every time.
She's like, "You betrayed me, King." She kind of has that mid 40s 50s like.
This is 1959.
Yeah.
Why is she talking like that?
She literally talks like Harley Quinn. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You let me down, King.
Now you're gonna go back to the slammer.
Come here, precious.
You'll never see your kids again. Gonna marry a real man and he'll be a real father.
Fada. But yeah, that's her. We didn't talk about her because she really has no relevance to the movie.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, so after her, they're all kicklining, dancing. It's great.
Gangam Style, yeah.
There's the mid-credit scene, which you are apparently the only person who watched.
It's the end credit, the full end credit scene. And the end credit scene is just Raccoon, Liam Neeson, who is also still alive. But he's on like a buoy signal thing out on the bay of the city. Just stranded out there. Just sitting. And then the bird flies. The red bird flies over.
Does he look
him.
a little beat up?
No.
What?
He doesn't have a
Oh,
single
his feathers literally fly out the window.
He doesn't have a single mark on him. That bird is immortal and indestructible.
Weird.
Feels no pain.
Weird.
Doesn't dream.
Weird.
Doesn't
Just a
sleep.
unit of mass destruction. Like,
And then the bird is like gonna fly away, but then the raccoon's like, "Can you please stay with me?"
Yeah.
And then there's shark fins
Yeah.
swimming around, and then that's the end.
And they die. They get eaten by a shark.
Maybe.
Well, that's
Or
implied.
maybe they don't.
They aren't in the sequel, apparently.
Well,
But that's the end of the nut job.
that's the end of the nut job.
I feel like part of the reason that Psy agrees to kind of like do this, besides like just the obvious, is that he is obviously a South Korean artist. This movie is produced in South Korea by a South Korean animated studio. And it is the most expensive animated movie ever produced in South Korea.
That's insanity.
Yeah. It had a $30 million budget.
Wow.
Hey.
And you might think $30 million, that's weird. But you know what? It goes on and it makes $120 million.
Jesus. Fuck.
Literally one.
Jesus.
Count them. 1,
Fuck.
2, 3, 4 times its budget.
Oh my god.
I don't want to be here.
This movie had a big premiere in South Korea where the president of South Korea attended.
They were nutty for the nut job.
And they watched this movie. But, you know, the movie, for all its pomp and circumstance, does come out and gets, like, utterly lambasted. And, like, critics hate this movie. I remember the trailer for this movie making me angry. It was just like...
Why did it make you angry?
I don't know. I was an angry young man at the time. No, but I just, like... The trailer just came up, and I think I'd just seen, like, some really beautiful animated movie. And this played right before, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, like, I'm here to watch, like, I don't know, Inside Out or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'm like, a gorgeous, like, movie that a lot of love and care is put in. I'm like, what the hell is this thing? This squirrel. I just remember getting angry at it. But now, you know, I've made my peace with it 10 years on.
Have you?
I have.
Okay, good.
I'm not going to say I love this movie or like this movie, but, you know, I made my peace with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, poor reviews, 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. Hampered by an unlikable central character and source material stretched too thin to cover its brief running time, the nut job will provoke an allergic reaction in all but the least demanding moviegoers. Brutal. You know, Francis, we actually never talked about your history with this movie. We never really brought it up.
I don't really have much history with
Okay.
it. It's just kind of like, so when I was a kid, I didn't have a TV in my house. Like, my mom would sometimes put things on her computer that I could watch, like on her little laptop.
Yeah.
Or I would just watch TV when I went to my grandma's. So there were like lots of like culturally significant things that I missed as a child. That then I would like talk to people about, and they're like, have you not seen this? And I'm like, no. So I would kind of go back and watch it. And this was around the time, like I had just watched Over the Hedge, because I had never seen it. And I was like, okay, this is pretty great. And then it was like, do you want to watch The Nut Job? And I was like, do I? So then I watched The Nut Job.
Double feature Over the Hedge.
That's the
Nut
extent
Job.
of my. Yeah, it was a pretty good back-to-back though.
I'm sure you had a great time.
Like it was. We'll see how Barbenheimer is compared to that, but in my opinion, no double feature can ever beat that.
What do we call it? Over the nut? Over the job?
For the
Or would we call it
Hedge the nut?
Nut hog?
the nut hedge,
Nut
the
hedge?
nut hedge.
Hedge the nut.
Hedge the nut? Nut hedge? I think it's nut hedge.
Nut
I
hedge.
kind of like Over the Nut. I think that's a good one.
The hedge job.
Hedge job.
No.
The nut hedge.
Nut hedge.
Hedge nut.
Hedge nut.
There's a lot of
I'm
ways.
just saying these things.
Yeah.
This is what our life has been reduced to.
Oh boy.
Employed for so long.
Yeah. Been employed for so long. Stuart, we are actually back to the initial impetus of this podcast.
Yeah.
So, Francis, in January of 2021, when we started the show, the first episode is us saying we're two unemployed filmmakers who have some free time on our hands. We're excited to do this, and then we immediately got jobs like 2 weeks after that, and like it's just like we kind of been having to tackle this with our jobs. But now, because of the writers and now actors strike, we are once again back to our roots as unemployed filmmakers. So we're here to talk about movies.
Fuck.
Full circle. It has to end now. You have to end with the full circle, or you guys keep going until the next strike.
I agree.
I think
Going
that's the way to
until
do
the next
it.
strike.
I agree. I think this is the only window of opportunity
The only
we have
window to get out.
to just get out. We are almost done.
Mhm.
We're getting there.
We are. Yeah, but the movie makes a healthy profit. They make a sequel. This movie does get nominated for a Directors Guild of Canada award, just for best sound editing.
Oh, I was like, what do they know? Oh, sound editing.
Yeah, which I wasn't really like listening to
Yeah.
in the movie, but like sure, I guess it sounds fine.
Okay.
They make a sequel called the Nut Job 2: Nutty by Nature.
Mhm.
Which is the nut shop blows up, and the mayor is gonna demolish the park.
Yeah,
And then it really
It's
turns
fucked
into
up.
over the
fucked up.
hedge.
Mm-hmm.
and they got to fight to protect their territory.
Yeah.
Brendan does not come back for it, but Jackie Chan apparently appears in it as a new character named Mr. Feng. Francis, have you seen the sequel?
I haven't, but I just learned about it. You can find the sequel on some streaming things because I was looking up the Nut Job. It's like, do you want the sequel? I'm like, no, I want the original.
The
Don't worry.
OG nut.
Don't worry, this is the
OG.
nut job we have at home kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honey, you don't need the nut job. We have the nut job at home. The nut job at home. The nut job too, nutty by nature.
My God.
The nut job 2 is 10 minutes longer than the nut job 1.
And it's
It
nominated
costs
for
$10 million more, and it makes like $68 million. So they never made a nut job 3.
Oh no.
Cast
We
it
never
into the
got to
fire.
finish the trilogy.
That would be kind of great though if it was a
Nut
Nut
Job
Job trilogy. That'd be
3.
kind of interesting.
And it was a good movie.
They bring
like a
the
really
no,
good
they'll bring
movie.
it back in like 20 years, and it'll be like a really old, like kind of grumpy, regretful, surly. He'll like actually be surly, and just like he'll have to kind of like
What
deal
are
with
the
the sins of his
lifespan
past.
of some squirrels?
I'm looking up squirrel lifespan. I'm betting 5
Yeah,
years.
I was because I don't. This was like a very kind of, I don't know, just kind of like depressing thought. But I was like, why are we having like Andy be in charge? Like, shouldn't we have an animal that has like the longest lifespan probably be in charge? So it's like instead of just like, after however long a squirrel lives, they got to pick someone new.
Yeah.
It's not really a smart investment, if you're like switching things. I don't know.
The average squirrels can live 5 to 10 years in the wild.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Most of them don't.
Oh, you don't say.
Oh,
It says like due to diseases, human interaction, and predators, most squirrels don't make it that long, but like they can live 5 to 10 years in the wild, up to 20 in captivity.
20 years?
Yeah, that's like the only animal I've ever heard of where they actually live longer in captivity.
20 years. A squirrel can live older than dogs?
Yeah.
What?
dang.
I want to like study squirrels.
Yeah, I'm looking at all these really cute pictures of squirrels now.
Uh,
Lovely.
Francis, any final thoughts, nut job wise?
Not really. Just it was a joy. It was a joy as always.
It was certainly.
I like how I'm always on you guys' show for like the most whack stuff. Like I got to do Three to Tango. Now I'm the nut job. So You just have to make sure whoever you pick again has at least one piece of like really unhinged work that I can talk about.
Yes.
We'll talk
So-
when we stop recording. I'll let you know. Stuart, look at this little guy.
Yeah, he's cute.
Francis, look at this little guy.
Aw, that's a good
Yeah,
guy.
good squirrel.
I'd have him in my house.
All right, I'm gonna X out the squirrel.
Any final thoughts, Jeff?
I feel nutty after watching this movie.
It was certainly a job to watch the film.
It was a job to watch, but you know what? We're here for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, great
all right.
shit.
Yeah, you want me to wrap it up?
Let's wrap this up.
All right. Well, I really thank Francis so much for joining us today. As always,
so
it was
fun.
a pleasure having you on. A special thank, as always, to everyone who's listening. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support the show. You can support us even more by liking and subscribing on whatever platform you're listening on. As a reminder, we're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon Music, and like probably 20 other websites that I do not have in front of me. Find us on Twitter or Instagram at TravoltingPod, TravoltingPodcast@gmail.com if you have anything fun to say, r/Travolting on Reddit. Find me on Twitter at Jeff W. Sweeney.
Narg.
Francis, anything you want to plug?
No.
Fair. Special thanks, as always, to Rebecca Johnson for our graphic design and Michael Van Bodegum Smith for the theme music that's usually taking you out, but I think you might be getting hit with
Opern
it.
Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.